Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Friday. It is the end of another working week. I hope you're having a good one wherever you're watching or listening to this around the world. Thank you as always for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And it is big breaking news this morning in the world of Arsenal. Very much unexpected as well. David Ornstein reporting a little bit earlier on today that Tim Lewis has left the club with immediate effect and Richard Garlick has been promoted to the new CEO. Big news. Was not expecting this big boardroom shakeup at Arsenal. I'm going to give my thoughts on that a little bit later on in the show. I am heading to Mikel Arteta's press conference in a little bit later on today for that massive game, of course. It's a huge weekend in the terms of the Premier League. Arsenal versus Manchester City on Sunday. Mikel's holding his press conference at London Colney in just a few hours' time. So after doing this, I'm going to jump in my car, head off to the press conference. And it should be a really interesting one as well, given what has emerged today. Now, Arsenal have now confirmed David's story from earlier. They have put out a statement confirming that Richard Garlick has now been announced as the new CEO. He was obviously managing director before that, and that Tim Lewis has left after 5 years. Now, I'm just reading the statement here on the side of me. As well as that sort of big change, there is new appointments on the board as non-executive directors. So KSE pair Kelly Blaha and Otto Maley have joined as non-executive directors. Now, I don't know these two. I have to say it appears that Kelly Blaha is sort of an accountant within KSE and that Otto Maley's sort of expertise in real estate, whether that means anything for future stadium plans, who knows. And KSE, long-term KSE advisor Dave Steiner has also joined in as a non-executive director. And interestingly, Ben Winston as well. Now, you might not know Ben. I mean, he's a massive Arsenal fan, but you'll certainly know some stuff that Ben has done because he's a big sort of executive sort of producer, director over in Hollywood, does The Late Show with James Corden, does the Kardashians, has done like the Emmys and stuff like that. He's a big Arsenal fan, season ticket holder, and he has joined the board as a non-executive director. I wasn't expecting that, I have to say. So it's a major shake-up at board level. I'm just reading a statement that Arsenal put out. So Josh Kroenke says, "We're delighted to promote Rich to CEO after an incredibly successful period as managing director. Rich has made an enormous impact on all fronts as we continue to strive to win major trophies, be financially sustainable and put our supporters at the heart of everything. At this moment, we would like to thank Tim for his continued dedication and commitment to Arsenal in a period of transformational change for the club. He's played a big, pivotal role and ensured we're in a great position to continue to deliver our strategy in our ambition to win major trophies. In keeping with our desire to always move forward, we will strengthen our board with some exciting additions who will bring vast experience to the club across a wide range of professions. The group know and love Arsenal and will bring a different skill set and expertise while injecting fresh thinking and energy to support us at all levels of our ambition." So really interesting changes at Arsenal. Changes I was absolutely not expecting. So long-serving director Lord Harris of Peckham continues to be on the board. The board changes are never a bad thing. I think it's always good to keep things fresh and bring in new levels of expertise. And when you look at this group who have come in, they are different in terms of what those expertise going to bring. Like I said, sort of jokingly, in terms of the appointment of Otto Maley, who sort of very briefly looking into him, is about real estate. We know that there is a potential ambition for Arsenal to do something with the stadium in the area and try and improve the facilities that are already there. Maybe he will help with that. We'll have to wait and see. I think the Ben Winston appointment is certainly the eye-catching one because of who he is, what he's done, and you look at it and think, well, where's his sort of football expertise? But you don't necessarily need that football expertise. It helps, I suppose, but if you're bringing a new sort of dynamic vision to the club in terms of, I don't know, I mean, it's all about content now, isn't it? Football as well, and if he's going to help with that and publicity and all that, it might well be a good appointment. The main thing, obviously, is Tim Lewis's departure and Richard Garlick becoming CEO. Now, I like Richard Garlick. In my dealings with him, I've always thought he's a very impressive guy. He knows his stuff. He's across all aspects of the football club, from the women to obviously the men, the first team, the academy, commercial. I think he's a very talented individual and a really nice guy as well. And he's got a big skill set when it comes to how he just interacts with people. I think he'll be a good CEO. So I've got no sort of issue with that, and he's very well versed in the world of football as well. So he comes with a big contacts book and is very well respected in football. So I think that's a good appointment. Tim Lewis's departure is the big shock. He has been KSE's guy for a long time. He's had a big sort of 20-year connection with KSE. Obviously, only came on officially in official capacity at Arsenal sort of 4 or 5 years ago, but his track record with KSE goes back a long time. So that has caught me very much by surprise. He was very influential in a lot of the summer business that Arsenal did. In the Eze deal, for example, he was all over that and played a big part in Arsenal getting that deal done and beating Tottenham to him. He's an interesting guy, Tim Lewis, when you meet him and talk to him. He's not universally, I would say, liked amongst the sort of football circle and directors. I don't think he has cared one little bit about that, though. I don't think that bothers him at all, and I don't think that's an issue either. He does get the job done. I think the big thing when you look at what Richard Garlick, what Tim Lewis has done is when he arrived and when KSE brought him in and said, right, officially you are now part of this club, you go in there and sort it out. And he did sort it out. You know, when he arrived, the club behind the scenes was a bit of a mess. We had people involved at the club who really shouldn't have been involved in the club and certainly shouldn't have had anywhere near the sort of responsibility that they did have or the influence that they did have. And he immediately went in there and cleaned house, and he got some people out, he got some people away from the club and made sure that their influence didn't really come back. And that was definitely a good thing. And so you look at where they were when he arrived, and you look at where they are now. He's done a really good job, I think. Is this like a massive loss? No, I don't personally think it is. I don't look at this as like, you know, when David Dein left, for example, that was a huge loss that took Arsenal an awful long time to recover from. And some will say they still haven't recovered from in terms of how they do their business behind the scenes. So that was a huge loss that rocked the club to its very core. And, you know, the ramifications from that were huge. I don't see that with Tim Lewis going. I'm not sitting here now shedding a tear and really worrying for the future of Arsenal with Tim Lewis going. But having said that, sometimes you do have to say he's done a good job, and he did do a good job. He's left the club in a much better position. I don't know yet. This is obviously very fresh. I don't know yet whether he's been forced out, whether he has decided to step down. I would suggest he's been moved aside. I just can't imagine he would have stepped down at this stage. I would be very surprised at that, but maybe, you know, that's based on no information. So it's just a hunch at the moment and it will be interesting what sort of conversations we all have over the next couple of days with people, what sort of emerges from that. But I would imagine that this has been a decision that's been taken above his head, and they've decided to reorganise and think he's done his job. Let's now shake things up a little bit. So yeah, really big, interesting news to come from Arsenal today. Not news I was expecting to wake up to or to start the day with. I thought I was going to do a video today just looking ahead to the Manchester City game, talking about what Mikel Arteta might be speaking about at his press conference. But oh no, we've got some big news as always. And it does feel like Arsenal have been pretty unstable for a while. There's been a lot of changes sort of board level and executive level over the last few years. It would be nice, I think, to have a sort of settled little period now, potentially. I mean, the one constant in all this is obviously, Josh Kroenke and Stan Kroenke, obviously, mainly Josh, because he's a guy, let's face it, who sort of run things when it comes to Arsenal. He's a prominent Kroenke of the two when it comes to Arsenal. But also Mikel, obviously, is the one guy who's consistently there and stayed there and everything like that. And he is, you know, the most important figure, you would say, at Arsenal at the moment. But big changes. Let me know your thoughts on it down below. As always, is it something that worries you? Are you concerned by it? Do you think this is a good thing? Do you like the boardroom shake-up at this stage after the end of the summer transfer window? Let me know your thoughts on it all in the comments below. Okay, before I sort of wrap this one up, because this is going to be a shorter one today, because I do have to make my way over to London Colney. Of course, I've got a few questions and comments from you guys, so thank you as always for that. Jason has got in touch on the Inside Arsenal Discord. Apologies because of my broadband issues that I'm having at the moment. I can't bring these up as slides as I have been doing, but good news, I'm getting new broadband installed next Friday, so a week today. Hopefully this mess will be over and I'll be back to normal, fingers crossed. But Jason has got in touch on the Discord and he says, "Hi Charles, man, when it rains it pours, but keep your head up, the Google and broadband storms will be worked out before you know it." Thank you, Jason, I hope you are right. For the City match, I would start Saliba 100%. Haaland may not have known MLS early last season, but he knows Saliba and Big Gabby. I'm sure they'll do a job on him. With Odegaard re-injuring his shoulder, I think Arteta should consider shutting him down until the shoulder is 100%. We saw how he performed last season when he never seemed to recover from injury fully. I'd like to see Eze given a run in his role, but fear Mikel would go the same midfield as he did in the Champions League. The issue with them is that their skill sets are too similar, resulting in a definite loss of creativity. We control the midfield, but it blunts the attack. Either way, the attacking fullbacks is likely to be our best route to success. I'm calling a 4-0 victory. Jason says that would be very nice, Jason. I would very much enjoy a 4-0 victory, especially on the back of the 5-1 last season. You're not the only one who says you would start Saliba for this game. It's a little bit of a selection here from YouTube comments. Dan says Saliba should rest because he is match rusty. Then he should come on against Port Vale to start regaining his match sharpness. So that's someone calling for Mosquera to start. Abiru, I think it says Eze plays central, Nelly on the wings for me. Angus says absolutely love Mosquera. He can become an Arsenal great, but I'd play Saliba, the best central defender in the world. And Addy K, I think that is, says just because of Haaland, I would prefer Saliba. Gabriel and Saliba seem to have the Haaland's number. See, I'm in that camp as well. As I said yesterday, as good as Mosquera's been, and I would have no issue if Mosquera starts. I'd have no issue at all. I wouldn't be massively worried or anything like that, and I think it'd be a rich reward for his performances. But having said all of that, I would still, for this one, just because it's Haaland, just because it's Man City, I would play Gabriel and Saliba together for this one. I'd bring Saliba back in for it. I'd be a little bit worried that he hasn't played any minutes in the last few weeks, but I just think that partnership, how they perform against Haaland, especially at the Emirates, I'd be choosing those two over Mosquera in this game. Another one here from Warwick on the Discord. It says, hi all, what do you think of the lack of minutes for MLS this season? Do you think this is more to do with Arteta utilising Calafiori to the fullest while he's still fit, or do you think it has more to do with MLS's form or something else entirely? Can't really wrap my head around him not featuring at all in Bilbao. Yeah, Bilbao surprised me, I have to say. I did think he was going to start. In terms of what I think of his lack of minutes, I'm not overly surprised, and I think it's a joint sort of mixture of what you pointed out. I think Calafiori's just been very, very, very good and was good in pre-season, and I just think MLS had a pretty poor pre-season by the standards that he set last season. I don't think he came into the new campaign in the best of form, and he had a left-back in front of him who was playing very, very well, and who started the season very well, and so I'm just not overly surprised. The one thing that did surprise me, as I said, was midweek. I thought that was a game that he would play. I thought he would start. I thought Calafiori would get a rest ahead of the Manchester City game. But look, he's going to get lots of minutes. There is a 5-day gap between Tuesday night and Sunday for the City game, so maybe that was in Mikel's thinking. Mikel will also definitely be starting MLS, you would think, against Port Vale in midweek, so he's going to be getting 90 minutes in that game, so that probably would have been in Mikel's thinking as well. So it's a long season. MLS is going to play plenty of football, and he's still very, very young. So I'm not, it's not something that sort of I'm losing sleep over at the moment, but I agree, I was surprised about the midweek omission. Aaron says, given our squad depth, who do you think will be the first player to want out due to a lack of minutes? Right now, I think it'll be Trossard, given his demanding nature and our stacked attack. Any other candidates? In your opinion, interesting one. I mean, I think Trossard's the one that immediately springs out, just because, as you say, he's very, very demanding. He will go and knock on a manager's door and say, why aren't I playing? Whether other players will do that, I don't know. So maybe he will. But I think the main thing is, as long as Arteta uses his squad well enough, they don't necessarily will want out. Just make sure they all play, give them minutes, and, win. You win trophies and you bring trophies to the club. A lot of these players won't want to go, especially if they have got minutes. Trossard, we say he might want out, but then if you're from a Trossard point of view, you're looking at it, you think, well, how old am I? I'm heading into my 30s. Am I going to be a regular starter elsewhere? I don't know. Maybe I will be, but I'm at Arsenal. If they're winning trophies and I'm still playing regular minutes, coming off the bench and making an impact in games, maybe he won't want out. So I think that's the key thing, is Arteta sort of balancing this squad well enough to keep everyone involved, to keep everyone feeling like they're part of the squad, and win. Because if you win, you're winning trophies. Players don't necessarily want to go anywhere, even if they're not playing. I got one from Chicken Dippers on YouTube now. It says, good morning. Firstly, thank you for delivering content even though your channel still hasn't been fixed. No worries. What did you make of Henri's comment when he stated Arteta has no excuses? Personally, I agree with him. He's been backed by the board. We have the depth now. He must deliver Champions League or Premier League, or I think he has to go. If Arteta can adapt and learn from previous mistakes in early subs and rotation, we have a chance. Just going to end this. We've scored 8 goals at home without Odegaard in the team. Just saying, PS Liverpool getting on my nerves with these late goals. I hate the phrase, no excuse. Chicken dippers. I think it's frankly a load of rubbish because it's not an excuse. I mean, but basically you say there also, after saying that you think he should go if he doesn't win the Champions League or Premier League, you say if he can adapt and learn, then we have a chance. See, if it's only a chance, how does he not have an excuse? You know, if it's a certainty, then maybe that makes sense. If you're a certainty to do something and you don't do it, then maybe you do have to come up with an excuse. But if you've only got a chance, if everything goes well, then I don't really get the fact that there is no excuse. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. There's plenty of, not excuses, there's reasons. You know, if Arsenal don't win the league this season, but they come second by 1 point to an amazing Liverpool team who won the league at a canter last season and have spent more money than Arsenal this season. Basically, who are the league favourites at the start of the season? Liverpool. You ask pretty much everyone who are your favourites to win the league. Pretty much everyone will say Liverpool. Not everyone, but the majority would have said Liverpool. That's why they're favourites with the bookies and everything like that, because they're the champions and because they spent a load of money. So if Arsenal are starting the seasons not as favourites in most people's view, why I don't get that if they don't win the league, why is there no excuse? So I hate that phrase, no excuse. I'm not saying that if Arsenal don't deliver and they do poorly with this squad, then Arteta's position shouldn't come under consideration. It probably should, because it's been a long time without winning anything. But I just hate the phrase no excuse, because I don't think anyone's using an excuse anyway. But there's reasons. If Arsenal don't win the league this season, there could be very valid reasons for that. So I just don't like that phrase, and I don't like people like Henri using it and annoying people on TalkSport using it and things like that. It just doesn't ring true with me, I have to say. Look, and that's it from me today, everyone. Thank you very much for watching and for listening. I really do appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again as we head into the weekend. And what a big, big weekend it is. Arsenal versus Manchester City coming up on Sunday. Take it easy, everyone. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.